Hi, welcome back to the channel. I am so excited to have you here. I hope you all enjoyed that cinematic showcase. Today, we are talking about a game that is now live on Kickstarter at the time you're watching this, and that game is called Bloodstone. Now, in Bloodstone, there is one supreme ruler of Stormwrath City, and her name is Vanera, a godborn. You have the most powerful champions across the continent that have been captured by her soldiers and are now forced to fight here in the Cytherian Amphitheater. Now in Bloodstone, you'll be playing as one of these champions either pitted against each other in an all-out PvP brawl or fighting in unity against one of the captured monstrosities in Cooperative PvE. Now here is a timeline of what we'll be talking about today, and please note that all of the components that I'm showing you today are from a prototype version of the game. So starting out first with the general setup. So everyone gets to choose a character that they want to play with. An initiative card deck that has character art matching your character, special dice that will also match your champion's attacks, and any unique tokens that belong to that character. The player board and the initiative card deck also have sides that match the mode that you're playing. There's the PvP side, and there's also a PvE side. Everyone also receives 3 of these red attack dice that you also put in your active dice zone on your character board. And there are also 2 other dice that we'll talk about during the gameplay, which are temporary attack dice and blood energy dice. Now, of course, you're gonna need a way to track how much health you have, so each champion also has a health marker that is listed along the edge of the boards. And you'll be dishing out pretty high numbers, especially during PvP, so that's why there's also a plus 100 side that you'll set to 150 HP for PvP. You also have a blood energy tracking board, and blood energy is basically like your reserve for special abilities and is open for everyone to see, so players can track and see everyone's current status on gaining their ultimate. Now let's go ahead and dive first into PvP. So we all started with initiative cards. You start the game off with the initiative phase, where you'll play one of these cards face down. And once everyone has made their selection, they all get flipped face up, and then you determine speed. The person with the lowest numbered played card is the person that's gonna go first. Cards with the lower number are faster, but higher number cards are usually stronger. So for instance, let's say this is the result of a 4-player game, and we have Lien, which is the rogue character in the game, that plays Gemini Daggers. The next champion would be Sinrig. That's the archer class playing Arrows of Slaying. Now notice how Sinrig's effect is a higher number and empowers her own dice pool. Then we move to Vrak, the warrior class playing Berserker's Helm, where he gains 2 attack dice. And then lastly, playing the highest number is Uwazi, the mage class playing an initiative card at 7, which is Searing Sparks, where everyone takes damage equal to twice the initiative card that was just played. Now this is before any attack has even occurred, so boom, Vrak would automatically take 12 damage from the get-go. Now that's how initiative cards work, but notice also that some initiative cards will also have an exile ability that's listed at the very bottom. These are very strong effects that can only be used once, because after you use them, they're going to be removed from the game and there's no way to get them back. They're also time specific, so some will activate on your turn, some will give you opportunities to reroll dice, some are defensive. There are a ton of different exile abilities. Now we move on to phase 2. So based on your initiative card order, you'll now move any dice from your incoming dice pool onto the active dice pool. And then depending on what you rolled, a lot of things happen. Different heroes can give you damaging dice, like bleed dice from Vrak, so you'll suffer damage. Blood energy will crank up your blood energy pool, moving you closer to your ultimate ability. And of course you have attack dice and temporary attack dice. Both of these dictate how much damage you're going to dish out. Now you have 3 actions that you can take in any order, which are A, move your character, B, within your character's attack range, which is listed at the bottom of your hero board. Quick note, as long as your character is within range, you can attack them. There is no line of sight rule. And C, activate your ability depending on what you rolled. You have single dice rolls, you also have double dice rolls, which are of course stronger, and you have triple dice rolls. That's another way to gain your ultimate ability as well. There's also this kind of tiered activation to abilities, so if you roll doubles for instance, you also have the option to use a single ability instead if that suits your situation more. And then you end up with the cleanup phase, where your temporary attack dice and your blood energy dice are discarded. Cleanup is also where you regain initiative cards if you have none left in your hand. And one catch-up mechanic for Bloodstone is with arena experience cards, where if you rolled less than 10 damage for your attack dice, you pick up 2 of these arena cards, and then you pick one of them to keep face up, and these will act as permanent upgrades for your character for the rest of the game. And that is how PvP works. So there are also team-based matches as well, like 2v2, 3v3, or even 4v4. You also have arena challenge cards that diversify gameplay, like you have the Arm, which is literally a swinging weapon that rotates a set number of spaces depending on what you roll, and it hits everyone that it contacts with for 10 damage. You also have weapon racks that give characters a temporary attack dice. You have a bounty that's placed for the current leader, lots of different challenge cards, and you can add 1 or 2 or more as the game progresses. You actually earn these challenge cards with our next mode that we'll be talking about, which is Cooperative or PvE. So now Vanilla has thrown a monster into the arena, as shown here with these two different monsters. And then your champions will now band up to defeat those monstrosities. Cooperative mode and arena mode are fairly similar, but with some few key differences. Monsters have 2 decks. They have their own initiative deck. Now these determine the monster's action, and they also have an attack deck which tells you who the monster is targeting and any bonus action that it's gonna take. So for instance, Malvara is one of the first monsters introduced in the game, who is kind of like a Hellfire demon with meat hooks. And Malvara has this Hellfire panel that rotates and damages heroes. This monster also has pretty insane abilities like Fire Blast, where these Fire Blast tokens attach to heroes and you can have multiple tokens stacked. Then players roll dice, and if you roll a hook symbol, then you latch onto the closest champion and you both take damage. Later on, you have a second panel that's going to attach into the arena. And then Malvara's damage is just ticking higher and higher, and its ability, Rising Inferno, actually causes your Fire Blast tokens to blow up regardless of where you are, and even if there are no targets in range, Malvara will still rotate the Hellfire panel. Now the second monster that I have in the prototype is the Terror of Everwood, who acts like a shaman class, where there's an idol that drains your life away, and the range of the idol increases each round. In turn, the Terror works in conjunction with the idol, so it's going to get empowered or rip your dice away, and basically you're kind of having to balance fighting 2 bosses at once. And lastly, every time you compete in a cooperative match or a competitive match, your character is going to gain experience that gets tracked on a reward sheet. You'll have choices on different rewards as you progress in experience, and there are also lots of treasures that you gain from defeating Vanira's monsters as well, like for Malvara for instance. Consider this a spoiler, maybe, but if you defeat Malvara, you actually gain its weapon, which are the chains of the demon. Now this acts to push away enemies and deal damage to them as you fight in future battles. Now in case you're wondering, there is a solo mode being planned for as well, and that is Bloodstone, live now on Kickstarter. So comment down below which part of Bloodstone you're most interested in. Links are down below if you want to see the campaign. And if you are joining me here for the very first time on my channel and you like the way I presented this preview, please consider subscribing to the channel. Share the cinematic if you want. I posted the cinematic on Instagram and we'll be sharing more photos as the campaign progresses. Retweet it to show your support. And with that, thank you all so much for being here, for watching this video, and enjoy the Bloodstone campaign.